Our chief guest, the Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation in the Office of the President in Uganda, Honorable Monica Musenero Masanza. The Arua Board Chair, Professor Sizwe Mabizela. The Arua Secretary General, Professor John Japong. The Chairperson, Makerere University Council, Dr. Lona Magara. The Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe. The Vice Chancellors and Deputy Vice Chancellors of Arua member universities. Our keynote speakers for this conference, the Chief Executive Officer of Astria Learning, Dr. Jeff Podes. Esteemed researchers and innovators, partners and sponsors, distinguished guests and delegates, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome. Welcome to Makerere for the 5th biannual international conference for Arua. And Arua is the African Research Universities Alliance. This is our 5th international conference being hosted at Makerere University. This is Makerere University. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to the conference officially, to welcome you to Makerere University, and for our international guests, welcome to Uganda. And to start, thank you. I'd like to introduce myself first. I'm called Eunice Rukundo. I'm your MC for today. I'll be assisted by Mr. Louis Chironde. He's the co-MC. Mr. Chironde is the Makerere University Communications Officer for Technology and Innovation Center, and I'm the Public Relations Officer for the university. And to start us off, I'd like to request you to all stand, please, for the anthems. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may take your seats. Once again, welcome to the Great Makerere, Uganda's oldest and one of Africa's most prestigious institutions of higher learning. The theme for this year's Arua conference is Research, Innovation and Artificial Intelligence for Africa's Transformation. To delve into this topic, we shall have an exciting 3 days of speakers and networking that will feature keynote addresses, roundtable discussions, side events, special sessions, and poster presentations. But before we begin, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping rules to ensure a smooth and productive experience for everyone. So I'll start with the most urgent. In case of emergency, there's the exits, 3 exits to your left and 3 exits to your right that are marked exits. Please follow instructions of the venue staff. And out of respect for our speakers and our general audience, I'd like to request that we please take a moment to silence our cell phones and other mobile devices to minimize interruptions, especially during presentations. You can find digital copies of the conference agenda and other material on the conference website at arua.org. That's ARUA.org. The local organizing committee will be sharing widely about the conference on social media, and the hashtag for this conference will be MAK, M-A-K, Arua 2025. We'll share mainly from the Makerere University handles that are at MAK on Twitter, on handle, and Facebook, and the other platforms if you'd like to join us to share. So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce and welcome Professor Robert Wamala, the Director of Research and Innovations and Partnerships at Makerere, but more importantly, the Chair for the Local Organizing Committee for this conference, to give us his opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome Professor Robert, the man that has made it possible for us to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation in the Office of the President, Honorable Dr. Musenero Monica, the Arua Board Chair, Arua Secretary General, the Chairperson of Makerere University Council, the Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, the Vice Chancellors and Deputy Vice Chancellors of Arua member universities, the keynote speakers, the Chief Executive Officer of Australian Learning, Dr. Jeff Borders, esteemed researchers, innovators, partners, sponsors, distinguished guests and delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning once again. On behalf of the Local Organizing Committee, it gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome you to Makerere University for the 5th Arua Biannual Conference. Once again, we are deeply honored to host this important gathering of Africa's leading researchers, innovators, and thought leaders. Allow me in a special way to extend special greetings to our guests joining us from across Africa and beyond. You're very much welcome. For those visiting Uganda for the first time, you are most welcome to Makerere University, and in particular to Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. As has been said, that the theme of this year's conference is Research, Innovations, and Artificial Intelligence for Africa's Transformation, is both timely and forward-looking. Across the world, artificial intelligence is redefining how societies live, learn, and develop. It offers immense possibilities for transforming sectors such as education, health, agriculture, and governance. For Africa, it presents an opportunity not merely to catch up, but to leap ahead, provided we anchor innovations in strong research, ethical practices, and a shared vision for sustainable development. As the local organizing committee, we are entrusted with coordinating this conference from conceptualization and planning to logistics, communication, and the academic program. It has been a journey of collaboration, dedication, and learning. I am proud to say that the success of this conference is a result of collective efforts by many committed individuals and institutions. I wish to sincerely thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, and the Makerere University leadership for the unwavering support and guidance. We also appreciate the Arua Secretariat for its close collaboration and all our partners and sponsors whose contributions have made this event possible. To my fellow committee members, volunteers, and staff who have worked tirelessly over the past months, I extend my heartfelt appreciation. Your commitment and teamwork have made this exceptional. The committee members, some of whom are here, Shaheen Menon, Professor Frederick Muyodi, Dr. Rachel Dungu, Nesta Mugabe, Professor Sarah Sadi, Joyce Nabende, Maria Mungu Habib, and Dr. Godfrey Mayende over that side. Dear delegates, this conference offers us a unique platform to share research insights, explore innovations, and strengthen partnerships that shape Africa's future. And so I do encourage us to seize this opportunity to learn from one another, to question, to co-create, to inspire solutions that speak to our context and our people. We're here in various nationalities: Botswana, Burkina Faso, Canada, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, France, Germany, Ghana, India, Kenya, Mauritania, Morocco, Mozambique, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, South Africa, Sweden, Tanzania, Uganda, the UK, the United States, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, and more coming up. Let us also remember that while artificial intelligence is powerful, human intelligence, ethics, and purpose must lead the way. It is therefore our responsibility as researchers, policymakers, and educators to ensure that technology serves humanity and contributes to inclusive growth. As I conclude, we are proud to host this conference at a time when we continue to strengthen our capacity for research and innovation. We believe that through networks such as Arua, African universities can drive knowledge production that transforms our societies. I wish you all fruitful deliberations and an enriching experience over the coming days. May this conference deepen our collaborations, spark new ideas, and reaffirm our shared commitment to build an Africa that is not only transformed, but also transformative. Once again, welcome to Makerere University, welcome to Uganda, and thank you for being a part of this historical event. Thank you very much. Allow me to take this honor to invite the Vice Chancellor to make his remarks, and thereafter invite the next speaker.
the Honorable Monica Musenero Masanza, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Lona Magara, Chairperson of Makerere University Council, the Chairman of the Arua Board, Professor Sizwe Mavizela, my colleagues, Vice Chancellors, Presidents and Rectors who are the members of the Arua Board, the Secretary General of Arua, Professor John Giampong, members of management, the Deputy Vice Chancellors and members of management of Makerere University, our special visitors representing sister associations, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I join my colleagues in welcoming you to Uganda, those who are not Ugandans, and also to welcome you to Makerere University. Makerere University is delighted to have been given the privilege and opportunity to host the 5th Arua Biennial International Conference at the same time when we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of our great alliance. As a pioneer member of the alliance, we salute all the veterans of Arua and thank them for the vision they had for Africa. Today, we are meeting in this historic hall, which has seen many debates about Africa's emancipation. Indeed, in this hall were held debates that shaped the profiles of many of Africa's independence fighters, including President Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, President Milton Obote, President Mkapa, President Mwai Kibaki, President Yoweri Museveni. Although he studied at Dar es Salaam, he was always here to attend the debates, and many others. These great sons of Africa fought for her political emancipation, but the struggle continues for Africa's total emancipation and freedom from marginalization. And so, the debates today are of a different nature. Debates to address the issues of climate change, Africa's demographic transformation, digitalization and artificial intelligence, good governance, and others. The emerging challenges demand that we ask new questions. How will we feed Africa's exploding population? How will we ensure the health of Africa's people? Where will jobs for Africa's youthful population come from? What is the solution to the conflicts that keep pushing Africa behind? How best can we leverage artificial intelligence to emancipate our people from poverty, and many others? The Africa CDC has reported that Africa manufactures only 3% of the medicines in the world, against a population that contributes 15% of the world population. This apparently corresponds to our contribution to global knowledge creation. So, how shall we keep this huge population healthy? How have our countries prepared for this potential catastrophe? Who is planning for this growing population? What is the contribution of universities? What can we as universities make to avert the pending instability that will inevitably follow a huge unfed or underfed and sick population? These are the questions that keep me awake these days. But not all is as gloomy as I might have sounded. I see Africa's renaissance not on the horizon, but right here with us. The Research and Innovation Fund of the government of Uganda and the appointment of a non-political scientist as Minister for Science and Technology are good examples of how the situation is changing in Africa. And I must assure all of you that science is in good hands in Uganda. Because of our minister, who is an epidemiologist, and she's always encouraging us, not actually encouraging, demanding from us to have results. Coupled with our chair of council, Dr. Lona Magara, she has shaped our research-led agenda by encouraging and asking questions all the time. These are two powerful women leading science and research in Uganda. For the last 4 years, Makerere University has received an average of 80 million United States dollars annually for research and innovation from the government of Uganda. And this does not include the research funds which we receive from the Ministry of Science and Technology, for which we also compete. Now, $8 million might look like peanuts if you consider that Harvard University spends more money in research than Uganda's budget. But I can assure you that the $80 million have greatly transformed Makerere University. Because what matters is not the amount of money, but the spirit in the people and their resolve to change the situation. And we are beginning to see cutting-edge innovations by our students and faculty, as well as other innovators in the community who are free to use the resources we have here, including our innovation pod that was donated by the UNDP. However, we need to increase the pressure and sustain the momentum. With concerted efforts by all of us, working collaboratively through ARUA and other networks, leveraging the remaining goodwill of the international research community, we can and we will change around the story of Africa in a very short time. I wish all of you an enjoyable stay at Makerere and look forward to interactive engagements during this conference. Thank you as we build for the future. It is now my honor to invite the Secretary General of ARUA, Professor John Giampong, to come and make your remarks. John will come later. I now invite the Chairperson of ARUA Board, Professor Mabizela, to come and make your remarks.
Thank you very much, my brother Vice Chancellor, Professor Nwangwe. Honorable Minister, esteemed Chair of Council, honored guests, colleagues and friends. On behalf of the ARUA Board, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th Biennial Conference of the African Research Universities Alliance, which is held under the theme Research, Innovation and Artificial Intelligence for Africa's Transformation. This conference marks the 10th anniversary of the establishment of ARUA. We pay special tribute to those leaders of our higher education institutions who had foresight to imagine a different Africa. I wish to acknowledge in a very special way the inaugural CEO of ARUA, Professor Ernest Aritia. Professor Aritia crisscrossed this continent, visiting all universities and ensuring that the very idea of ARUA took hold in our institutions. And the fact that ARUA has grown strong is great tribute to his outstanding leadership. This gathering brings together distinguished scholars, researchers, and policymakers and partners who share a common commitment to advancing Africa's knowledge and innovation goals. We extend a particularly warm welcome to our special guests from international bodies and institutions, and also to funders and donors who have supported Arua over the years. Your presence at this conference signifies the enduring value of collaboration and the shared responsibility of building research ecosystems that serve humanity, foster development, and promote equity across the globe. As we are all keenly aware, the challenges facing humanity today, ranging from climate change, pandemics, and food insecurity, to technological disruption and social inequality, are simultaneously local and global in nature. These complex and interconnected challenges transcend geographic, political, and disciplinary boundaries. They demand cooperation among nations and institutions, as well as collaboration across disciplines and sectors. It is therefore imperative that African universities cultivate robust and sustainable international networks. These networks should not only facilitate academic collaboration and research partnerships, but also serve as vital platforms for knowledge exchange, for the sharing of best practices, and the mutual strengthening of institutional capacity. Through collaborations, African universities can position themselves as central actors within the global higher education and research landscape, active contributors to the generation of knowledge that advances both Africa's development and global progress. It is time that the African continent breaks free from this perpetual dependency on other nations. We express our sincere appreciation to Makerere University and the local organizing committee for organizing and hosting what we are confident will be a memorable and enriching experience. Your dedication, professionalism, and hospitality provide the foundation for meaningful dialogue and productive engagement over the next 3 days. We also wish to acknowledge with heartfelt thanks our eminent keynote speakers who have so graciously accepted our invitation to address this conference. We are deeply grateful for their willingness to share their insights, expertise, and perspectives on issues of critical importance to the continent and the world. We extend our profound gratitude to all conference presenters for the time, thought, and effort invested in preparing your papers and presentations. Your intellectual contributions are the lifeblood of the conference and are essential to its success. We are equally grateful to all participants who will be contributing to the discussions and debates that will take place during this conference. Your engagement and active participation are invaluable to the process of collective learning, knowledge creation, and innovation. This conference would not have been possible without your support, commitment, and participation. It is your presence here that gives meaning and purpose to the work of Arua and strengthens our shared pursuit of excellence in African higher education and research. We wish you stimulating, productive, and successful engagements. May you, at the end of this conference, leave with a renewed sense of hope, purpose, and optimism, that despite the formidable challenges we face, Africa's future is bright with promise and possibility. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Please allow me to tweak the program a little for smoother flow. I know the program says that next we should have remarks from the University Council, but I'd like to change that up a bit so we can have the address from Professor Marwala from United Nations University, then remarks from Arua Secretary General, and then we'll pick it up from there. I beg your indulgence. So I'd like to welcome Professor Marwala, Director, United Nations University. Thank you. Oh, it's a video. It's a video, so please let's watch the screen. Thank you. Please allow us some time for the team to sort out the technology. In the meantime, please note that the places of convenience are right at the top of the staircase. For the gents, at the top of the staircase, you go to the right, and for the ladies, you go to the left, just right after the second staircase.
Distinguished delegates, although I cannot join you in Kampala, remind
United
we are struggling with all the negative indicators. Our GDP is low, our public debt is escalating all over the place. There is immense poverty, and all the indicators that we don't want to be associated with is always associated with Africa. On the social dimensions, we have about 120 million people who face acute food insecurity. And there is issues of unemployment, underemployment, mismatch of many issues, including gender disparities. We have challenges with many other issues on the social scale that we would want to address. Our health could be better. In recent times, our health budget has gone down significantly. And thanks to Uncle Trump, all the support that we used to get for our research has been curtailed. Our health as a continent leaves a lot to be desired. And non-communicable diseases seems to be on the rise. In the political sphere, the story again could be better. 3 out of the 10 least peaceful countries on the globe are in Africa. All the indicators as far as governance and accountability are concerned are still not very good. So we decided to subscribe to the Sustainable Development Goals. And we have been working at it for some time now. We as a continent have been working assiduously to try and ensure that our people become prosperous, there is peace, and we work in partnership with one another to ensure that our planets on which we live continue to be a good place for us all. Even as the target date for the SDGs approaches, we still are lagging behind on many spheres. Incidentally, apart from Norway and Australia, no country has yet gotten to the SDG goals, but many are getting close. Europe is getting pretty close, and there are others who are also lagging behind. But the African continent is way, 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 way behind. And the question is, how do we change the narrative in Africa? We have developed our own Agenda 2063, whose targets are not very different from the SDGs. How are we tracking these goals? And what can Arua, as the leading universities in Africa, do to help track these targets? What will it take? As an epidemiologist, I know that if you don't measure it, then you can't even attempt to manage it at all. So we need to try and measure and track our progress. The targets that have been set within the AU 2063 agenda, we've made some progress as far as peace and security is concerned. But there are many challenges that clearly needs rethinking to achieve many of these goals. This is where we think that probably AI could help us to address some of these goals, these challenges that we have. Indeed, in the OECD report in 2025, clearly our colleagues in Europe have made some progress in addressing some of the social and economic challenges through the use of AI. By ensuring that AI critically drives knowledge advancement, foster critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and enable solutions to pressing economic, social challenges. So AI and automation can help us focus on bigger issues whilst we leave the routine things to the artificial intelligence to deal with for us. And this increased efficiency would enhance implementation of complementarities that we have in allowing our higher educational institutions to accelerate research, boost innovation, and address the challenges that we have. So AI can serve as a powerful catalyst for the scientific breakthroughs that we need on our continent. Indeed, there is a lot of evidence to suggest that AI has positively affected many sectors of the economy, from transportation to information technology, to innovation and research, and even labor markets and workforce management has had some significant impact with the introduction of AI-led initiatives. The energy sector, education, the public sector itself, and even manufacturing has been positively influenced by AI. Agriculture, healthcare, and finance have also been demonstrated to be positively influenced by AI, and there are clearly measurable indicators to show this. So what are we planning to do or achieve at this conference? How can we use research and innovation and AI to promote collaborative research and innovation networks in AI in Africa, to build AI capacities and talent in African higher education institutions, and to advance responsible AI ecosystems and capacity building? How can we strengthen university-industry collaboration through AI to ensure that our countries develop faster? What about governance and our Pan-African collaborations? So basically, we want to apply AI to improve our lot as a continent through our research universities taking the lead. There is a lot to discuss, and we cannot deal with everything. So we've identified some areas where we want to focus, at least in this conference, to help us chart a pathway. The first is the area of agriculture. We are hoping that we will get some indications on where AI is transforming agriculture currently and the directions in which AI is going in the use of technology to improve agricultural output, both in crops and in poultry and animal husbandry and all that. We would also want to have a discussion on how to build a grassroots AI ecosystem. How do we ensure that here in Africa, the thinking and the use of AI is at the lowest levels in the community? And how do we engage at the community level? Last night, as I was writing this, I found out that Uganda is doing quite a lot, and we hope that we will have some of those experiences shared through our parallel sessions. So, can AI go to the very local level and ensure that everybody participates and it is not just left for the higher echelons of academia and industry? So maybe there must be an AI uprising to ensure that everybody participates. In the health sector, before I get to the health sector, we also, when we talk about AI, we assume everything is simple. It can be done on our phones, and when you talk about AI, most people think about ChatGPT. But we need computer power to be able to do this. Do we have the data centers? What are the infrastructure requirements that we need to get AI done or used properly on this continent? Very few appropriate data centers do exist on this continent. And there is a need for our governments to invest in these. What about the policy framework? We need a right policy framework for the use of AI so that the use of AI will become ethical in every sphere, from academia to governance to the social sector to the health sector, so that we all keep to the ethical principles of using AI. We would also want to have a discussion on health to see how AI has enhanced patient care and how it has been used in drug discovery and data analysis to improve diagnosis. It is very possible these days to sit in Makerere or to sit in Uganda and get your MRIs read by experts in another part of Africa through collaborative work. How are we going to ensure that this happens? So the health sector actually offers us a lot of opportunity to demonstrate the use of responsible AI. And the other issue is, how do we ensure that there is equity in the use of AI, even as we deal with the health sector? The first SDG that we've been working with all this while is aiming at no poverty. How can AI be used as a tool for poverty reduction on the African continent and globally? But I guess the real question is, can the AI really end poverty? We need to be asking ourselves. And the issue of addressing inequalities, can AI really help us to achieve that? AI and job seeking, are things really going to change? We hope that the keynote speakers that we have assembled will help us address many of these issues. So in this conference, we are having 6 keynote speakers. Professor Mawala's own and mine combined as the first keynote. And we'll have 3 roundtable discussions. And in collaboration with Makerere University, the Royal Tambo chairs would also have a panel to discuss issues relating to AI. Our young scientists would also have their 3rd day workshop through centers of excellence, and we hope that there will be a lot of engagement at that level. Then we'll have a final policy wrap-up to see where we will be taking this concept to improve the lot on the African continent. As you heard already, Arua is 10 years old, and we will be having a celebration this evening, and also a conference dinner tomorrow. So you have a copy of the program, and if you want to know who have been speaking in this first plenary, just scan the QR code and you know everybody. But these are 6 keynote speakers, and they will be addressing specific issues. Professor Okori from Raw Forum will be dealing with agricultural issues. Professor Makerere will also be handling the grassroots issues. Dr. Adama Ibrahim will be dealing with the infrastructure and the policy issues that we want to engage on. And Darlington Nakogo will be dealing with the health issues. And Samantha would be dealing with the poverty eradication, and related economic issues. We'll have a number of panel discussions. The first one, which will be focusing on advancing responsible AI ecosystem in African higher educational institutions, would be chaired by the ARUA board chair. And we have assembled a number of vice chancellors and deputy vice chancellors to participate in this. The second roundtable will be looking at collaboration amongst us as African institutions, the various African institutions that are in the higher education space. How can we work together to ensure that we achieve our goals? As I indicated earlier, the OR Tambo chairs would have a special session. Then ARUA has international partners beyond Africa, and we will have a panel discussion which will be chaired by the former Secretary General. And our vice chair will chair the wrap-up session to help us formulate the way forward in ARUA addressing all the issues. Then we have our closing ceremony. And at that time, you know where we'll meet in 2 years' time. The program outline is there for you to be able to follow everything. Yesterday, there was one vice chancellor who sat with me, and he said I looked nervous because this is my first ARUA conference as Secretary General. And he said to me, "You cannot fatten a goat on the market today." Basically, his dealers around, yeah, give me a wave, yes. This is an African proverb, which basically says that, look, what you have done is done. So it is up to you to decide whether the goat is already fat or not. But the goat is in the market, and it is for you to buy. I thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a hand of applause again to the Secretary General, Aroa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor. I'd just like maybe to remind you that if you want more information about the speakers today, there's QR codes in the programs. If you don't have a printed copy, they were shared as brochures to your registered email address. Thank you. Right now, I'd like us to take a commercial break before we invite the Chair Council and our chief guest. And for the commercial break, I'd like to invite a group from Makerere's Department of Performing Arts and Film to give us some entertainment.
karubata kabare katenga tenga narubata kande katenga tenga narubata kande katenga tenga bahendera abanyesere mhara wo muganza eshire binte zinkorere bagajore babihogo weza bosho banje nimwe imucire twezane mumuke twezane rabosho banje
iwa wadumwe dere ngoma zane ya daunga tuguruche daunga ngabashara daunga tuzane daunga tuguruche jaruzo jera jaruzo jera jaruzo jera jaruzo jera jaruzo jera jaruzo jera jaruzo jera
Mwebale Munonga, mwebale.
Thank you very much. Wasn't that nice? Let's appreciate them once again as they leave the stage, please. Thank you. So those are our very from the Department of Performing Arts and Film. Thank you very much. So for the next part of our program, I'd like to invite Professor Nawangwe to please invite our next speaker, who will then invite our chief guest. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, in my remarks, I told you that we have two strong women who are leading science and research in Uganda. Obviously, our minister, who, by the way, Professor John Anchepong is an epidemiologist, and you people from West Africa, you should actually pay us, because she spent years in East Africa to control Ebola. You have never paid. and our chair of council, Dr. Lona Magara. When she became chair of council, she came and we were all talking and saying, we want to be research-led. We want to be research-intensive university. So one day she asked me, you are saying all these things you want to do. Do you have the structure to do it? That's when we woke up. We were all the time saying we want to do this, but actually we did not have an appropriate structure. Because of that one question, we have a new structure for Makerere University, a new academic and administrative structure. And I can assure you that with that structure, not even the sky is the limit for us. Thank you very much, Dr. Magara, for always challenging us. And the minister, of course, also challenging us all the time. The minister's word, and I'm sure she's going to say it again, so let me not say it today. What is our research doing? Is it just publications, or are we transforming society? It is my honor and privilege to invite Dr. Lona Magara to address us and also invite our guest of honor.
Thank you, Professor Nawangwe. The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation in Uganda, Honorable Dr. Musenero Monica. The Arua Board Chair, Professor Sizwe Mabizela, the Vice Chancellor of Rhodes University. The Arua Secretary General, Professor John Japong. The Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe. The Vice Chancellors and Heads of Arua member universities. Our funders, Carnegie Corporation of New York, Makerere University, and the Astral Learning. The chairpersons of the local organizing committee, led by the Associate Professor Robert Wamala, esteemed researchers, innovators, and partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to Makerere University. It is with profound joy and a deep sense of purpose that I welcome you to Makerere University for the 5th Arua Biennial International Conference. Today, we gather not merely as academics and institutional leaders, but as visionaries, dream builders, and custodians of Africa's future. The previous speakers have underscored our collective responsibility to drive the transformation and development of Africa. The theme of this conference, Research, Innovation, and Artificial Intelligence for Africa's Transformation, invites us to imagine a continent where knowledge is not merely consumed, but created. It is not imported, but exported. It is not peripheral, but central to global development. It challenges us to believe that Africa is not waiting to be transformed. Africa is rising to lead the transformation. We meet at a time of tremendous possibilities. Artificial intelligence is redefining what humanity can achieve. Yet, the true power of AI for Africa will not be measured by the sophistication of technology alone, but by the impact it has on the lives of our people. The farmer seeking climate-smart solutions, the child yearning for quality education, the patient requiring timely health care, and the young innovator daring to dream. Africa's story must not be one of catching up. It must be one of leapfrogging. And to leapfrog, we must be courageous enough to reimagine, to innovate, and to believe that the solutions to Africa's challenges can and must emerge from within Africa. Makerere University has engaged in several strategic partnerships targeting research investments and transformative initiatives, such as the Makerere Research and Innovation Fund, the Makerere University AI and Data Science Research Center, and the Makerere University Innovation Pod. These stand as testament to what African universities can achieve when they embrace innovation with intentionality and vision. Arua 2 demonstrates that when African institutions collaborate, we amplify our voice, our influence, and our impact. Like Professor Nawangwe mentioned earlier, when we first came onto the board, the new council, we had a visit through all the colleges. And I just want to restate that within Africa, within Makerere, we have an incredible resource to start research that transforms societies. Research in itself, like he mentioned, is not sufficient. We cannot research and have publications that do not transform society. There has to be that connection. And not just in Makerere, but Africa. Arua provides an important strategic platform where we can partner, where we can collaborate to transform our societies and to transform Africa. So let us remember that technology must serve humanity. As we embrace AI, let us shape it with African values that include ethics, community, dignity, and shared prosperity. Let us nurture a generation of thinkers, not only skilled but wise, not only knowledgeable but compassionate, not only innovative but anchored in integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa is blessed with the youngest population on the planet. While this presents certain challenges, it also offers a powerful engine of creativity and growth. Our responsibility as leaders is to unlock the immense potential this young population holds. We're all familiar with the inspiring Africa Rising narrative, a powerful affirmation that Africa is no longer defined by its challenges, but by its potential, by its resilience and innovation. This rise is evident in many ways. Our vibrant and increasing educated youth, our sustained economic growth, and the emergence of world-class universities and collaborative research networks such as Arua that are transforming our continent. Africa Rising is more than an economic slogan. It is a movement of renewed confidence and self-determination, reminding us that Africa's progress will be driven not from outside, but from within, through the ingenuity, creativity, and collaborative spirit of its own people. This remarkable rise is not just a story, and it is not just potential. It is a golden opportunity that we can harness to elevate Africa even further. I'm therefore truly honored that we can share this significant conversation together today at Makerere University. Let us therefore commit during this conference to build research ecosystems that empower African scholars. Let us commit to inspire innovation that uplifts communities, to forge partnerships that accelerate our collective progress, and above all, believe in Africa's ability to lead. To our international guests, welcome to Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, where hope, resilience, and warmth flow through our people. I'm deeply grateful to the Arua leadership, to our Vice Chancellor, to the local organizing committee and all partners who have made this gathering possible. May this conference ignite ideas that shape a transformed Africa, that are bold, innovative, and unstoppable. May this conference move Africa from the potential that it has to the reality that it truly can achieve. Have a great deliberation. God richly bless you. Thank you. Of course. It's my great honor and privilege now to invite the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Monica Msenero. She is the face of science and innovation. When you talk about science and innovation in Uganda, that's the face you will see. She's a mover. She's a mover. Please make welcome Dr. Msenero.
We still have some science to correct that. When people have already hacked you, it becomes difficult to begin. But it's such a great honor to be here today. The Chair, Council, Makerere University, Dr. Lona Magara, the Chairperson, Arua Board, Professor Sizwe Mabizela, the Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, our esteemed Vice Chancellors of member universities of Arua, and if you don't mind, if I could have the privilege of seeing those Vice Chancellors so that I see which Vice Chancellor is here, since I'm only here today. Let's welcome them. Thank you. The Secretary General of Arua, if you are still panicking, eat some matoke. It will keep you calm. Our distinguished researchers, academic leaders of innovations, our students, partners, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second time this week that I stand in Makerere before scientists and leaders of science on the continent. I was guest of honor and formally opened the Oliver Tambo conference on the other side of the campus. And again today, I am here addressing a similar but bigger group. And what has been spoken here, and what we have had over the years, indicates that we are greatly aware of what needs to be done. So I keep asking myself, why aren't we doing it? We are very busy. We are really busy. But somebody told me activity is not progress. Being busy does not necessarily mean that you are moving towards your destiny. But I think we are getting to say the right things now. And I hope that we are putting ourselves together for the challenge, not a negative challenge, but a positive challenge. I tend to give us a chance as Africans. Don't feel so bad that you are lagging behind. I want to tell you that you will only be judged badly if you mismanage the moment now. Why? We can't accuse you for not doing what was done when you are not born. Africa missed the previous 2.5 industrial revolutions, not by choice, but by default. The first industrial revolution, we were developing our own technologies on the continent. They were not yet jointed, they were not yet connected, but they were progressing. But they were not linked to each other, neither were they linked to the global setting. But before those technologies could gel, we were disrupted. We were disrupted first by slave trade, which exited the workforce and disrupted the continuity of technological advancement. I sometimes ask, how did we think about fire? There were no telephones. There was nobody to travel and copy it from somewhere. There was innovation taking place. How did the Africans think about books and say, I don't know this. And we figured out that you can smelt the roots in the environment and extract iron so that you could teach machinery. You could get the speakers, you could get the. They figured out that the herbs outside can act as medicine. To an extent that up to of uneducated Africans largely who have the knowledge of natural therapeutics. So, but then the disruption which came from slave trade and the disruption which followed with the colonization to those efforts, stigmatized them, disconnected community. And something was superimposed in the middle. And that made it difficult for us to continue with innovation. Because when you are still studying something was placed in your hands to use. So why do you continue to study? And so the continuity of science on the continent became disrupted. I narrate this because for some reason, many of us and our leaders were so irritated by the negativity that we lose our confidence that we can actually do something. In the second industrial revolution, they exist as states. In the third industrial revolution, that African nations started getting independence. And we had to learn how to be nations. We had to learn how to put systems together. We had to get to imagine how to live together because we're different peoples. Through groups trying to live together. So So the third industrial revolution, which brought us the internet, the information age, for most of it, we struggle to define ourselves as nations so that we can have structures which can then pick up. In the meantime, the world is telling you, Africa, you are underdeveloped, you are corrupt, you don't know what you're doing, you are judged, all your innovation index says that. So this has worked on us to impose an inferiority complex that sabotages us. And so today, the only thing that I'm comfortable with, because that's what I want to achieve. I want to make it comfortable. That will see people shifting, and then I know that I'm achieving what I came here to do. So comes the fourth industrial revolution, which is Africa's first industrial revolution. This is our first industrial revolution. When we are nations, we have a significant population of organized institutions, of organized researchers. We have some infrastructure on the continent. And so this is a very unique moment. Very unique. Very, very unique for us. This is Africa's first industrial revolution. And so, if it is our first industrial revolution, what do we need to do? You see, there are these airplanes. When I was working in West Africa, Kenya Airways used to fly. It will fly into Accra, then it will go to Liberia, then it will go to Freetown. At each of those places, it offloads and people join. When you join some other tenants, you join and start to fly with them. So let's not feel too bad about the past. And we need to begin to look at our challenges as our raw materials, our threats. The challenges that second are raw materials. The Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, we don't know anything like impossible. We don't know that. I learned to do their challenges because those are my materials. Even if I have challenges, I have no job. So that list which you read, those are raw materials, which this conference should see, not because indeed of course we have, because we have joined the flight in Accra. Some people flew from Nairobi. We can't have the same, but given that we are joining from here, what do we need to do? The issue is we are joining an airplane which is flying. We cannot be like those who already there. Our behavior has to be different. And when I became Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation 5 years ago, it's amazing how time flies. I found this scenario. A lot of researchers, a lot of people, by the way, I spent 16 years as a lecturer in this university. I was a staff here. So when we were singing I was watching who was singing and who was quiet because I can see it perfectly. Research. But then I discovered that the research we are doing is a bit different from the research those who have been tenants are doing. How different is it by the outcome? The outcome. And that's when the slogan, "Shall perish" came. Publish or perish. It was good for the season. It pushed people to get into research. It's not a wrong statement, except it is incomplete. It's not accurate. It's incomplete. Publication is part of the output of a university. But it's not the total output of a university. Because as a nation, as the universities in a nation are, so is the economy of that country. So in my words, I want to draw to economy. I want to economy. Sometimes our universities exist like foreign embassies in the nation. It has no connection to the people living outside the walls, outside the gates. And that's what they formed, they coined the statement of Ivory Tower. But universities arose out of societal needs to concentrate in knowledge to address societal needs. And so as we gather here today, I want to put it to you of Africa plus our supporters that the fourth industrial revolution and the fast approaching fifth industrial revolution spell one thing, that the world is becoming interconnected. The globe is becoming interconnected from one to the other. And any part of the world which is a portfolio, which all of us will feel, because we have to drive through. The area where the segments of the world that were developed and others are not has come to an end. And so Africa cannot remain as a huge pothole. Fill the pothole. And guess who is going to lead the pothole of development? It's the scientist. It's the academician. As I was telling the term of conference, as the continent by various categories of people. Because we had chiefs and we had our internals, but there is colonialism to lead us. There are leaders that stood and resisted colonialism. The outcome was the outcome. We were colonized anyway. And to the best of my knowledge, by 1912, the resistance movements had already started, and there arose a leadership which took the front line, the Mandelas, and they fought until we had liberation. Succeeding from that, those who took over immediately after colonialism, defining statehood. In some countries, it is one leader. In some countries, it is multiple leaders. But their purpose is the same. And their work has been to define nationhood. to set up some of the universities that we have now, to set up basic education systems that we have now, to set up some of the things that we can now define ourselves. They may not be perfect, but the majority of the nations that you come from, they are basic functional systems. Now, the leadership is shifting to science, technology, and innovation. Because when you study the history of all nations, at this stage, they had to shift gear. They had to leap in front. And the only thing that leads nations is science, technology, and innovation. We are going to the basic understanding of science. We have the basic infrastructure. It's now time for us to pick it up and begin to make it the driver and builder of economies. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what divides the world is not hunger. It is not land masses. What divides the world is the economic status of the nation. That's how we become categorized, because if your economy is doing poorly, you can't afford certain things. Now the ball has been kicked into your, that's called the D, the one where you score. The scientists, you are the ones to score the goal. Sorry for some of you who have never listened to me. You're expecting a minister who is reading a political statement. Sorry, I am a technical minister. I am here to challenge you such that this 5th meeting is not just another meeting where you go home and feel comfortable, because you're taking the driver's seat for the continent. Over the past 5 years, there has been so much momentum building up, and the time for takeoff is now. And so this meeting should not be discussing niceties and diplomatic statements. It should be facing the tough things. What must we change to do the works that are required of us? Africa now does not need science, which is in the conferences. Africa needs science on her streets. Africa needs science in her pharmacies. Africa needs science in your households. The knives you use to cut meat in your kitchen, where are they made? I think the ladies, you know, the gentlemen, I will forgive them. The ladies, that knives, the knives you use, the cutlery you use on your table, is it coming out of your science? The shoes you put on every morning, where are they coming from? The music you listen to, is it this one? The entertainment you follow every day, is it this one? Coming out of us. By the way, creatives are part of STI. I thought you'd clap for me, because then I'll start funding creatives. So the issue is, we cannot continue to have a science which is an embassy in your nation. We cannot continue to have that, where you do your science, you write your sophisticated paper, you publish it in a high-impact journal. The policymakers in Uganda will never have a chance to read it. Even if we read it, we wouldn't understand what you're talking about. We want science that shows up on our tables. We want science that provides jobs along value chains. I was in a meeting early in my tenure as a minister. I went to an African country. and where many ministers gathered. It was my first international meeting. Now I did it intentionally, then it wasn't intentional. I didn't know that as ministers we were supposed to speak niceties, speak diplomatically. Minister after minister narrated how good their science is. Then it was my turn. I said, ladies and gentlemen, if your science is so good, I have been watching your cars on the streets. All imported. Visited your supermarkets. They are very imported goods. So how good is your science? People told me, please be diplomatic. I want a science that addresses our challenges and that science produces goods and services. And so I have discovered that because of the disruption in the progress of science, while the rest of the world was developing science, we missed a few things in the middle. And that's why we recognize there is a gap, and the main focus is, but how? What should we do? Exactly what should we do? And I've spent the past 4.5 years trying to answer that question. The good news is here in Uganda, we have defined it. We have defined it to a point that we can now have curriculum which bridges. We defined something known as the black box. So when our grandparents discovered iron ore, they discovered how to smelt it, they discovered how to forge spears. They were supposed to be moving to the next stages until they have iron smelting factories. But there is a chunk of knowledge which was cut out. They could not progress. And that chunk is missing. So right now, when Makerere Department of Engineering is presented with, we need to process our iron ore, there is just a gap which they are not part of. They're just not aware of what to do. So the next thing is, how can we get an investor to come and do it? But the investor is coming to invest in what? Let's bring a contractor to come and do it. Because we do not have those what? Skills and knowledge of how do you move from that basic knowledge which our great-grandfathers had to building an industry which processes iron ore into steel. So when we reach that point, we panic because we don't know and we loop. And so if we continue doing that, know that in the 4th industrial revolution, the 5th industrial revolution, and the revolutions to come forever, you keep doing that. Now is the time for us to put our feet down and say, if others have done it, we can do it. If others have done it, we can do it. Do not fear to enter. Do you have some Nigerians here? But do you watch your own movies? Now, there is a favorite category of movies that I like. In the movie, there is an evil forest. There is an evil forest in the movie. Now, the evil forest is usually a very scary and potentially dangerous forest. But typically, within the evil forest are treasures. And there is a certain way you are supposed to behave. You're supposed to be resilient, you're supposed to be wise, and you're supposed to navigate the evil forest until you reach the treasure. And usually the treasure is either to save that your family, That treasure is precious. Am I accurate? African scientists, I want to invite you to enter the evil forest. That science which you are doing, which is of ties and flying in airports, and it's not the full story of science. The story of science involves going down into gutters to take the knowledge that you have gained, convert it into tools. The tools to innovations that address national challenges. And the innovations must go into factories or platforms of multiplication and distribution. After that, we must build enterprise. If we don't follow that, we have zero chance of changing our economy. But what economy? It's all about economy. So if we shy away from the translating knowledge, our chair talked about knowledge. Africans, you don't respect knowledge. You don't see knowledge as an asset. You don't see knowledge as a treasure. That's why if asked, how many of you have patents? And how many of your patents have been commercialized? The hands will reduce and reduce. We see knowledge as a happy go around. Wow, we have done this. Let's go and present it in the next conference. Let's go and share it here. Immediately you are sharing it. In certain sections of the world, by the time you see a publication, the product is following suit. That knowledge has already been patented. And that is why you collect data. And the world has been screaming, data is the next gold, data is the next gold. You collect data and give it away very happily. For us, our part in this research is to collect data on epidemiology and send it. Write a publication, game done, next grant please. Now at your personal level, you African professors, that's why you are retiring on pension. The most of you on the journey are going to retire poor. You do not recognize that the pension of a professor are patents. There are royalties. There are royalties. And sometimes your friends from the other side, they assume you also have them. Because they are so common, nobody talks about them. They don't know that for you, you are trying to earn some small allowance from the grant so that you can buy a few bags of cement to put up apartments for your retirement. This, for those, please understand these people. They are not bad, they are not thieves, but they don't have royalties. Because for some reason, it's not included in the grant agreements. It's not included in the what? The grant agreements. Knowledge is precious, and now we are moving to the knowledge economy. We have boarded this plane when it is not in Nairobi, it is where? In Accra. And that is knowledge economy. Guard your knowledge. Negotiate for your knowledge. Respect it. Data is gold. You are talking about AI. AI is data. We are talking about AI is data. Without data, there is no AI. I quit quarreling with my ChatGPT. I don't know if some of you are using ChatGPT 5. It's very annoying. So I've told it I'm going back to my ChatGPT 4 plus. V5 is still being trained. It's very annoying. So I want to challenge us. Then because if you give away knowledge without protecting it, it cannot be translated into tools. So knowledge is what we convert into tools. So somebody will have the knowledge, it is not protected. Then they make a prototype of something and it's not protected. And they are all over the world exhibiting it. By the time they come back from the third conference, there's a product on the market in that line because it is not protected. So the African professor must have cause to simply focus on research because your future is guaranteed. This also affects how you choose what you choose to research on. 1994, I went to Cornell University. This was my first exposure to proper research setting. And they were saying, who is your professor? I was like, oh, the professors in the college. They said, no. Whose lab are you working? And so there was this coordinator for our program, which I was graciously sponsored by this unit, the ARTP program. The coordinator, our coordinator, who was originally from Sudan, we were a group of us, kept moving us from professor, let me take you. And the professors were like, my research interests are 1, 2, 3. And quickly I discovered that all research interests were linked to industry. They were linked to industry. You don't have students who come in and you tell them, please, can you identify a research problem? That doesn't exist. You're taking knowledge to the market. So my professor was researching on to develop vaccine. And the next student came and picked up where I ended until the vaccine was on the market. And the professor has their royalties. So let us change such that you focus, you concentrate. As I come to an end, Uganda, like many times the complaint has been, but you don't fund, the government doesn't fund science. Government can fund science. But government will not fund the science which has no direction. All the time we are trying to keep the economy afloat. You must be able to tell the story from your knowledge to the market. How many jobs do you hope to create? What will be the value of this industry should you succeed? And jerk your string, and we show the relevance. The government of Uganda has just defined a strategic direction for the next 5 years. NDP4. In NDP4, we have defined the priorities, sectors. I'm glad to see that they sort of overlap with what was shown here by the executive director. Agro industrialization. Professor Nawangwe, I expect you to be already drastically reorganizing your agriculture, food science to align with this. Because that's the money that I have. By the way, you have, Kayes has produced a coffee, but it was just a sample. I had it from Dr. Lona Magara, then I got it. It's very nice coffee, but I bet it is still a prototype. We have a Gulf Food Expo. Uganda, for the first time, has paid for a store. We want to show the world our foods, and coffee is one of them. Can they have accreditation? If we introduce that coffee to the world, they are going to go crazy. But right now, we're producing tools and stopping at prototypes. We are not entering the evil forest. Now, we are here to walk with you to the evil forest. We have focusing on tourism. Now, I know the university here, we have a school of hospitality. You need to sit down immediately and know where are the gaps. Where are the gaps? Where are the needs? Because we want to lift it. We want to lift the tourism. Actually, we have to more than triple the money from tourism. So I would expect these schools of hospitality already to be at my office saying, what innovations, or have innovations which can give government what you need, and money will come. We have means development. Now, while mining and primary beneficiation is in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, all value addition is under STI. I've been screaming. We are now purifying tin to about 95, 96%. You professors tell me, how do we make the next products? I have the money. Who is going to tell me that? Still going to do that first part, but I need automotive grade steel, and they are not going to reach there. We are soon bringing out oil, and I've been screaming, I need a materials research and development center for the petrochemical industry. Not a single university has brought for me a proposal. These are the priorities. Money is going to flow in those priorities. But for you, the ones who know Uganda, you can help me. That as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be without end. So learn to read what the economy needs. And if you have been a professor of mechanical engineering, there's nothing that stops you to do research in electrical engineering. This woman speaking here is a vet. I'm a veterinary doctor. I metamorphosed into a molecular biologist, vaccine technology designer. I metamorphosed into an epidemic response strategist. And guess what? I've metamorphosed into an STI economist. You can no longer just be the way you have been, just purely with a technical area. Move, please, professors across Arua, move. Read the Times. The cry for all the nations. I've been in meetings is we want our universities to touch our streets. And the final one is the big one. Yes, we fondly call that priorities ATMs. ATMs, you know the ATM where you go and pick money. For over 50% of the money that is supposed to take us to the 10-fold growth of the economy by 2040 is supposed to come out of science, technology, and innovation. And I want to promise you, those of you in Uganda, government is giving us the money, but we want us to tell them what we are going to do to contribute. And I am very sure all African nations, once they begin to work out of it, once they begin to do this, government will shift. Government of Uganda has not just shifted. Over the past 5 years, we have concentrated on answering the question, how does science build the economy? And because now we've started launching our first factories, that was September, we launched our first factory, which arose out of science from this university. The Chira Motors manufacturing plant. I was going to complain. This is the largest, most capable, most competent electric vehicle manufacturing plant on this continent. And now we are moving on that road, that track, learning. What did we do? Can we work something else? So I expect us to now be moving like that. But now that we have the factory, there is no place to come back. What does it need? What does it need? What is going to keep us unique? And that information is now flowing into making this factory produce better, superior products. That is how science builds the economy. Yesterday, my team was invited into a meeting because we said we need this money to go to the next level. The whole nation is listening to us. So if you, Vice Chancellor, you don't know to look your government to fund your research, come for the secrets. Come for the secrets here. My issue now is to find enough people, enough scientists to actually drive this. That's my problem now, not money. And these presidents, all these cabinets, all these parliaments, they want to support you because you are going to be the leaders of this movement. They said this was the African millennium. We are in 2025. We are still lamenting. Instead of narrating progress, we are still lamenting about the same problems we did in 2020. Let's stop that one. Let's stop that one. If we can't meet the SDGs, let's look back. Were we actually prepared to meet them? Or they were just artificial? So, but these are things we want to achieve. How can we actually achieve them? So our priorities here, mobility industry. Two categories in science. One is create new sectors of the economy which had not been a part, in fact, where we were written off, but others are harvesting a bounty on the global market, and money is flowing from my economy daily to acquire those technologies. That's why we've gone into automotive. And for our guests, please, Vice Chancellor, you already have the buses here. Take people to see the plant. The second sector, we have rebelled against status quo and started to make it work, is what we call the pathogen economy. Uganda is gifted by nature, including pathogens. There's a lot of research which takes place here on pathogens. Is that we are buying products from that research without knowing. So we have also decided to harness those pathogens and have products and build an economy around it. So this is to do with pharmaceuticals, inputs into the health of animals, humans, and plants. All those tools that we use for prevention, for therapy, for measurement, all that, we are going to be part of it. And currently we are hosting the largest and most competent pharmaceutical manufacturing campus on this continent. I know you are hesitating to clap because you don't know about it. That was by intention. If you were going to Matuga, just a few kilometers from here, you reach there and you'll feel amazed. So we want to become a pharmaceutical manufacturing center. And we have worked out the mechanics. When we are doing a lot of research, we are building a biosciences park in Nakasongola. We want to contribute to engineering, so something called infrastructure innovations. We have a very large campus for which we call Engineering Development and Innovation Center, which is along Marara Road. We have moved into electronics and AI and the software. And we're already doing some exports on this. We are doing some exports. So for that, we have built a deep tech center in Namamve, just a few kilometers from here, which is fueling the innovation. We are working in space. When I became minister, and the president says work on space industry, we were able to locate only 8 space scientists who knew something. Now we have close to 50. We are intentionally working on it, intentionally, day by day. It is not just going to happen. It is not just going to happen. It has to be very intentional. So those areas we are working on, then intentionally we are working on adding value to what we have been selling as raw materials. And now today, our visitors, I now have the pleasure and I don't know, did anybody from STI come? I was expecting someone. Our guests are here up to when? Friday. We'll be at least able to give them a taste of the just delightful flavor of our coffee. Grown and roasted here. Forget all those things that are taken from here and roasted. When you roast coffee here, it just gets a fantastic flavor, which unfortunately cannot be recreated anywhere. Because Uganda, no, I'm telling you the truth. We are the Rift Valley, we are the Equator, and we are Plateau. Which other part of the world is like that? You think Churchill just said that Uganda is the pearl of Africa? Truly, they are unique things. We've taken the same coffee from here and roasted it somewhere else. And there's a clear distinction in the flavor. So it's not just the growing and the roasting. The oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen balance. So we would like to gift you with at least each of you with half a kilogram of our coffee brands. And then you will forget those things you are tasting. And this coffee is coming home to your place, to a market near you. Please eat some matoke. Matoke is a fantastic product. Initially, we were just eating it here because we grow it behind the house. You cut, you cook, you make it. But now we have made a way to make it available for everybody. 3 fantastic qualities. We have been able to make a flour which is gluten-free. I push this because I am allergic to gluten. So I can now eat bread, I can eat cakes made of matoke flour. Gluten-free. Secondly, it has a special starch-resistant starch. And we have a patented technology because initially when you cook matoke, this resistant starch would lose its resistance. But now we can prepare it to the final end when still resistant. You can eat all you want, you not grow fat. And produces probiotics. This one is a secret. Have you seen all the smiles on Ugandans? We have a happiness index. The secret is we eat matoke. By the way, it is all scientific. The happiness hormone is called what? Serotonin. Now, matoke has a precursor. It's not those bananas you eat everywhere, plantain. They don't have it. Matoke has a precursor, 5-dehydrotryptophan. And it resists all the processes until you've eaten, then it is converted in your body to make higher serotonin. You'll be happy when you awake. You'll sleep so restfully. Let me close. I want to challenge you, the African scientists and researchers. Developing science for the economy requires looking beyond the surface. I first heard about the push for AI in a retreat and digital migration. And all these are things that have come, like when cars came, they came. But you cannot concentrate on use. Where is the money in AI? Can you show me the money? Flowing to Africa, not out of Africa. Flowing to your nation, not out. What's the balance sheet? And we are the ones who are supposed to help our politicians understand this. AI is good, like I spend a few dollars every month to use ChatGPT. Now, does it positively enhance my economy? It actually, I cannot get that money out of it. Does it add value, positive value to my economy? So I'd like the researchers, and I'm engaging your Makerere University, the economics department, to make sure that we are calculating these things. How do you make AI give a positive impact on Ugandan economy? Where are the exact tricks? Because if it is just using, we will have just a mirage as if we are modern, but in the end, you have a negative impact. Actually, we did a research. We have been told by all these reports, international reports, but we have done a small research here with your people here. And we discovered that digital technology, the way it is, makes us poorer. It goes into my village, so the boys can bet on the football. Okay. So those international betting companies are able now to extract money from poor farmers who are growing maize and selling maize at 500 shillings. So they sell 5 kilograms of maize to bet on a national match. Because we didn't figure out how can digital actually become a positive economy for us. That's a challenge I'm throwing to you. I want to thank you. I hope I've provoked you. I hope I've annoyed you, some of you. If you don't want to greet me, it is okay. But I hope I have challenged you that you will not settle. The other day I was talking to some people and saying, I'm pronouncing a curse on you, that you will not settle with that type of research anymore. If you try to continue, you will have nightmares. You will have nightmares. We as Uganda, we have done a work of the evil forest. The good news is we are happy to come to you, to your country, and share with you this work for free. Share the secrets, the nuggets, because hidden in what we call a black box. We'll be very happy to share with all African nations. I wish to declare the 5th Biennial ARUA Conference officially open. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for our chief guest. So we've been invited into the Evo Forest, but the comfort is the government will walk with us through the Evo Forest. Thank you very much. Sign the MOU and also give the closing remarks for the opening ceremony. Mr. Borges.
the Honorable Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation, the Chair Council of Makerere University, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Nawangwe, other Vice Chancellors present, Ms. Jane Abago, representing the PS Ministry of Education, the Chairperson of Arua, Local Organizing Committee, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I think we can do better than this. Good morning. Much better. I had a presentation prepared to showcase a history of to outline why we're signing this MOU. This event, which marked a very key point in Makerere and Astro Learning. As you know, AI is transforming everyone's life. Honorable Minister, you mentioned you're still paying your ChatGPT subscription because it's now a part of your day-to-day. Who in this room doesn't use AI in one form or another? Raise your hand if you don't use AI. There's 2 people in the back. For us as Astro Learning, we're originally a software development company. For 16 years now, we've been developing EdTech to change, how EdTech is run globally. And a few months before ChatGPT was released, actually, I was invited in Silicon Valley, and I got to see the power of our artificial intelligence. And I remember going home and realized I'm going to be out of business in the next 5 years. And it doesn't mean that that's what happened. What we did was we had to pivot because I noticed the machine was able to code much better than my engineers. You know, at the time, if you think about 2022, engineers were some of the most sought after professionals in the world. And what we had to do as a company was to pivot our business model. And as the Honorable Minister mentioned, I had to transform myself or ourselves to say, and where we are right now is we've been shifting all of our research and development budget into creating AI technology. And these AI technology will be the foundation that we will use with Makerere University to create the AI e-campus, where we're going to target postgraduate individuals around the world to educate them much faster, much better than before. There's a goal to educate 100,000 professionals or PhDs by the African Union. I think Professor Nawangwe, you corrected me the other day. You told me it's 1 million. So the goal is to create 1 million new PhDs by 2035. How many of you believe that this goal is attainable? And I think with AI now and what we're about to sign, it's more attainable than ever before, because then you can enhance capacity of supervisors. Because I think there's a cap. I think the average is about 1 to 40, which is a lot, even more than that. But now with our tools, lecturers are going to be able to do a lot more without having to work more. So I wish my presentation was up and I would have shown you some of the things we have, including proctoring tools, including an AI-powered help desk, including a learning management system that helps create content, that does grading for lecturers, so that way you can actually do more with your time. So, Prof, considering the time, I would like to say, I'll come here and introduce Professor Nawangwe to start the signing of the ceremony. I wanted to just add a few words to say we're proud as Astro Learning to be signing this MOU because we think the impact will be resonating for the next 10 years and further and further and further in the future. So I want to thank the management team of Makerere University for trusting us and starting this journey with us. And we look forward to changing the world together. So, Professor.
I'd like to invite the IB team and Astro Learning to please come and witness the University Secretary to please come and witness the signing of this MOU.
Is the photo going? Yes. Honorable Minister, I've been told that all this time I was supposed to be chairing this meeting. So let me chair at least the closing remarks for the meeting. We want to thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for provoking us. Actually, sometimes I watch Nigerian films, but I hadn't paid attention to that evil forest. I'm now going to be very attentive, okay? And the Nigerians, thank you very much for taking the lead in this creative industry on the African continent. We not only enjoy the evil forest films, but also the music. You have taken by storm with your music. So thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for making it this morning. We know you are very busy. You have said that you were telling me this morning that I have made you now a member of staff of Makerere. Now I'm actually publicly inviting you back next week, because next week we have the AI in Health Africa Conference. And we are inviting you to come and also officiate at that one. And Chair Council, thank you very much for leading us in all these endeavors. Our Chair of Arua and the Secretary General, Professor Yete, the pioneer of Arua. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope this very vibrant opening ceremony has laid a very good foundation for us to discuss Africa's future. Thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The conference has officially been opened and the opening ceremony has officially been closed. I'd like to invite our guests, our vice chancellors, our deputy vice chancellors, to please come to the front at the bottom of the stage for a picture moment with our chief guest. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite our guests to a cup of tea at the other side. And as we'll have the Vice Chancellor's exit first, followed by the other guests. And as we close, I'd like the team from Makerere's Department of Performing Arts and Film to give us some more entertainment as we close the opening ceremony. And thereafter, we'll break for tea. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are students at Makerere University, Department of Performing Arts and Film. We have a poem for you about the theme. Please enjoy.
Once awoke, where drums once spoke the language of smoke, now arises a rhythm of chord and fame. Innovation sings Africa's name. From Kairo's labs to Cape Town's nights, brilliant minds ignite the digital light. In every spark, a dream is cast. The future is calling fast, so fast. Like a lion unbound, its echoes shaking the ancient grounds. In dusty halls and city squares, the scholar's heart is set on fire. They question, they test, they dare, they build. Each theory a promise yet unfulfilled. For knowledge is power, the future of Africa's destiny. yet deeply aligned. An artificial ally, coded and wise, that helps our people visualize better harvests, cleaner streams, health reborn from data dreams. No longer watchers of the West, but Africa's mind shall stand the test. Kigali, Kampala. AI has become a people's friend, translating languages, predicting the rain, turning knowledge into brain. Innovation be your song, the code of knowledge, wisdom and strength, from wisdom's roots to digital skies. Let knowledge be your grandest prize.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, these are students from the Institute, from the Department of Performing Arts and Film at Makerere University. I'd like to now invite you to tea and coffee, led by our chief guest, our chair council, vice chancellors, to the right in the tent, and followed by the other guests. Thank you very much. And as we go for tea, I'd like to announce that because Austria Learning was not able to make their presentation, they have a booth set up just at the entrance. So please pass by for information so you can get to know about what they do and what they're going to be doing with Makerere.